Welcome back, children. Now we start with, so we have understood by doing activity 1.1, 2 and 3 that how can you detect that a chemical change or a chemical reaction has taken place. So here are the 4 changes we see during a chemical reaction, right? Children, you need to learn these 4 changes with one example of each. There can be a change in state, that is, for example, let's take off activity 1.2 where lead nitrate and potassium iodide reacted, and we know that insoluble precipitates of lead iodide were formed. This insoluble precipitation indicates change in state. Then comes change in color. Again, the same activity can be given as an example because the yellow colored precipitates of lead iodide were formed, and initially the compound lead nitrate was not yellow, but after the reaction took place the compound became yellow in color. Okay, then comes change in temperature. You can definitely quote example of activity 1.3 because at the end when acid and metal were reacted, if you remember, zinc granules were reacted with hydrochloric or sulfuric acid, and at the end we saw that the test tube becomes warm from outside. So that shows that temperature has changed. And finally there was evolution of gas. The last change which you can see during a chemical reaction is some gas released at the end of the reaction. Now this again can be explained by activity 1.3 because when acid and metal reacted, salt of metal was formed but hydrogen gas was released, right? So whenever this question is asked, always remember the 4 changes are change in state, change in color, change in temperature and also evolution of gas, and you should remember one example for each.